everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So do you remember the Make It Together Moth Journal, the end-to-end Make It Together journal? It's still here. I haven't thrown it into a fire. Now that Junk Journal January is over and life is kind of calming down, I want to get back to it again. So in the last video, I told you I was going to go away and do some fussy cutting, that, you didn't need to watch the whole thing. So I did the whole bag of these moths from one of my digital collections. And then these are the signatures as we left them. I haven't touched them. I don't even honestly remember what is and is not done. This is some of my mixed media paper. This is a map from the original book. Remember the book cover? I do have a digital collection I'm going to be releasing with this eventually here. I'm trying to decide when to do that. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it soon, so if you want to use it, you can. We have a bit of finished ephemera. We have a bit of cut things. We've got a lot going on. So what my objective is today is to work on this. But first, I just want to organize what I have. So bits to make ephemera with can go here, okay? Then I did fussy cut these girls. I want to, I think, ink them and possibly use them in the center. There's some dolls that I painted that I want to put in the book, but I also want to do a little sketching on them and a little inking. So these are going to be the fussy cuts. These are finished pieces of ephemera that are done. This is cut stuff. I probably have a little more fussy cutting to do, but this is all cut things to make ephemera with that have geometric shapes. I think I've probably got here far more than I know I do far more than I'll need for a journal. I have some paper dolls. We'll put those in fussy cuts. Okay, things that can be cut, like that label can go up here. Another label. Obviously this paper, I'm going to use the rest of this scrap, I think, and maybe I'll put the rest away. I don't know that I'm going to need all of this for this project. These here. Okay, so yeah, there's some finished things. We have this pocket we made. So finished goes here. These are bits to make things from. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with that. These are fussy cut. More geometric shapes. Dolls. Yeah, I've got way more than I will ever need here. These are like labels and things. We'll call those finished, maybe. Well, they're not really ephemera. They'll have their own thing. Fussy cuts and dolls. So I think I probably have most of what I'll need to make the pockets, the journal cards, the tags. These I obviously want to use a piece of this beautiful moth fabric, probably as a fabric flip. And these maybe as tabs, this fabric, so the fabric can have its own little pile too. This was from the original book, so I want to make something with that. And then these, okay, so this is for a specific project I want to put in the book. Let's put that here with fussy cuts maybe. And then I have some original pages from the book with the chapter headings on them that were really nice. Because they have these. And I think I took the ones where I felt like I could use them as a snip in the book. This is more that we can make stuff from that has moths. Little sort of things to fussy cut or sort of fussy cut. A scrap. This is there's a moth on here somewhere, right? Yeah, back here, moth stuff. Okay. And this is just a plastic folder that maybe I had a plan for. That little label can go in my ephemera up here. Okay. So we'll set that aside because I'm not sure if I'll use it or not. And let's get the basket and put it over here. Okay, so sensible piles. That's the objective. Sensible piles, immediate projects, things that I want to do immediately. I think are this this and this are what I'd like to work on today, those two things. And then maybe I'll also find a place to put the finished stuff within the journal itself. So let's see what we have going on with the first of the signatures. So we have this. This is loaded. That is loaded. That is loaded. I think some of these were already completely finished. I did do some sketching on there. Might be nice to add something on there that's like a tuck. Obviously there's this that could be cute as a tuck spot. But also I have her, and she could look quite lovely there too, because there are some purples back here. Did we use any dolls here? I just have to, oh, I did. Yeah, I did. Okay, the first day in the wilds. Okay. Yeah, I have to remind myself because it's been so long, right, since we did anything with this book. And I feel sad about that. It's so beautiful. Okay, let's use this. This is a slide from the Junk Journal Studio. I think I did a little design team project making those. So let's go ahead and use it on that little spot there as a tuck. Yeah, super fun little tuck. Okay, and then why don't we make something to go in that? But let's just take a look at this signature first to see what we have here. Okay. Oh yes, okay. We need something for there too, and for here, and for here. I think, or no, that's just a little glue down. That's right. Okay. Let's think. What do we want to do? So this has a centerpiece already, so I can't do these projects. Why don't we work on, what do we need? We need one. One, two, three. So we need at minimum like 3 journal card or tag type things. Okay. So let's make it. This is really cool. I like the kind of natural history feel of it all. So let's trim that down and play with that. I might just move this out of the way because it's kind of in the way, but we won't forget about it because we need it. We need to use that stuff. I definitely think I have way more than I'm going to need for the one journal, but that's okay too. Where's my, right here. I don't normally trim this way. You guys know me. I'm like a ripper or a tearer, but yeah, I want to just trim that so it's a little straight. That's better. Okay, what shape do I want this to have? I feel like it would be nice as like a tag. I'm very tag addicted. Let's get some paper from this Tommy Hilfiger bag here that we can use as backing. Okay. I cleaned and reorganized my whole desk and it feels so good. Oh my gosh. Like I put this bin at the back of my desk, like it's a clear bin on its side that I can throw all of my like scraps from my books, like the book spines mainly, and like little bits and bobs of things. so I was putting them in this little fabric bowl, but it was always overflowing. And I know now I've given myself an even bigger container, but this one, I've created this whole system. So it's actually like sitting on its side. So the open top of it, where you put things in, is actually facing me and it's sitting on its side. And then I put a piece of like packing tape that's clear across it. So like things don't fall out of it. It gets caught on the packing tape. And so it can't get too overflowed because it'll start spilling at me. So it's like some kind of an intelligent design thing that I'm trying to do to prevent myself from hoarding too many things. I'll let you know how it goes. But then on top of it, I'm able to put my Big Gator Mouth ephemera book. So I've got like 4 of those Big Gator Mouth ephemera books. And I plan to use one at a time and try to like use stuff from them frequently. So that is my objective. Okay, so where's my signature? Right here. This, it's going to be too big for. I knew that already. I need like a thinner tag for that, but some of these other ones, it might be okay. They're back here. I would like it in this one. That would be nice. So we need to trim about like a 1/2 inch off, I think. Yeah, let's do that. And we'll keep this as a journal card. Where's my ruler? Right here. I'm gonna go, actually I don't want to go from that side. I only want to go from this side. Back to my rip. No more measuring. Where's my corner rounder? The corners on this one. Do I need to clean this out again? Yes. I just did this, I swear. How many corners have I been rounding? Okay, let's put the other signatures up here so I don't get confused and start working on a different one. As well as the cover. Get that out of the way, safely away from the messes that I'm going to make. You know what we could try using today? I got this today. The new Distress ink. I also got the Oxide, the Scorched Timber. I got it from my local scrapbook store. Let's give it a try to do some edging. That might be fun. I'm just going to use my regular brown, I think. Sorry for you purists out there who have a dauber for every one of your inks, but that is not me. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. I like it. It was funny in my scrapbook store, the lovely woman who owns it, she said to me, you know, I don't really like that color. I feel bad saying it like I'm going to get in trouble, but I don't really like it. I'm a color person. I said, oh, I know how you feel. I know. I mean, I'm a little sad that the palette is like done because like I feel like I would probably want to do a lot more with it, but also I think it's got to be like a cash cow for Tim Holtz, right? Like he's got to be making so much money off of having like 10 products in X number of colors. I feel like he could ride this train for so long that it would like, you know, feed, you know, everyone forever, but who knows? I'm not a marketing guru or anything, but yeah, I get where she's coming from, but I do like a lot of grungy colors and stuff. And when we think about how often we use shades of brown, I think it's a pretty nice one. It's very like, it's almost like a, I don't know, like it has like a swampy brown feel to it, like a Middle Earth mud kind of feel. I don't know. I like it though. I think it's really nice. Sorry, hydration break. Okay. So that one will go in that pocket here. I like that there. Now for this first pocket that we have that we need something, I'm probably going to do like some kind of a tag, possibly a journal card. It's going to come, actually, I think I see what I want to use that I think will be nice in the background is this from my kit, her. So yeah, let's make her a little more fun and interesting. Not that she isn't, but let's just make her a little more so. I think I'm not going to... I don't really think I want to back it because it's already on quite heavy printed paper, right? We don't need everything in a journal to be really thick. You don't want to back everything to be super thick. I like to back things that have something on the back, and I do sometimes back these kind of things too, but not always, because otherwise your journals just get really chunky. And if you've been following me for a while, you know I do like to add a lot of things into journals that I put in the shop. I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, like it needs to be decently embellished and also have a lot of writing space. Those are kind of my requirements for my journals that I sell. Well, I have a million requirements, but those are the two that are like important to me when it comes to content. Like I want the content to be appealing to someone who wants to do art in the journal or just simply write in the journal, or, you know. Okay, now let's try to abide by my plan of like, let's try to use things from my gator mouth ephemera folder. So I'm going to grab this. This is a little sticker of a little stamp with a flower, which goes wonderfully, I think, with a moth. And I'm going to actually put it down here in this corner. And then I'm going to just grunge the edges a little. And I think that's the one thing about this particular shade of Distress Ink is like it's grungy. Like it's truly grungy. It's not supposed to be anything but that, I think. Scorched Timber. I'm happy with that. I think I will put that in as it is. We don't need a lot else going on with that. And that will slip nicely in there. Okay, so what I want to do is fill that other last pocket. I have a few other things probably. I know I need to put some fabric tabs and stuff, but that's going to come a little later. So on the treetop, I'm going to do something here. Now, on the treetop, wouldn't it be nice to have something kind of tree-ish? And see, this is what happens. I have 8 million things cut out for this already, but I'm like, I need something else that I don't have. So I'll be right back. I gotta grab something. Okay, so I grabbed a collage board that I've stitched on from my Tuesday 10 scrap bin. I'm going to try to get back to Tuesday 10 videos. I know some of you have been asking. I hear you loud and clear. On the treetop, we say. Okay, so this can't afford to be how high? Okay, I grabbed this and I grabbed this. What do I want to do? Okay. I need some paper. Okay. So the first thing I need to do is cut some of this. Is some eco-dyed paper or fabric. Just a scrap from my Bino scrap. Okay, we're going to cut kind of a... We're going to get a little thinner as we go up. Bear with me here. Okay. Height-wise, how are we? A little tall. Okay, that's okay. Cut that off. Okay, now I need to cut this. I can't rip it because of the stitching. So, I don't know if you guys want to hear about the drama, my soccer drama. But I'll talk about something while I'm doing this. So my daughter plays soccer, as I've mentioned a few times here. And so the way that the soccer league works is that there are some coaches that work for the league and some coaches that are parent volunteers. And that's really super common with kids' sports because, it's hard to finance these things to have all, employees and not all, like some volunteers, right? So that's my tree. So my daughter is like a little ray of sunshine, and I mean that. Like, she's very non-confrontational and very obedient. Like, she listens. She's a good team player. She's helpful. She cares about her all the kids. Like, she's a really easygoing kid. Everywhere I take her, people tell me what a pleasure she is to have on the team. So, whenever I come at things, I think about that first. And then I think about what I'm bothered by. How is it impacting her? Is it impacting her? Or is it just impacting me? Because as a parent, I think a lot of us could do better by our kids if we think about things. Does our kid care about this? Or is it just that it bothers us? So I had to do some soul searching recently because we had such a situation like a week ago, like last weekend. And it was basically that, like, my daughter's coach, I've had issues with his inactivity kind of with the kids, his lack of being involved. Like, so there are supposed to be 2 parent coaches per team, and then there's like supervisory kind of, like, the referees are staff as well as the owners of the league and the coaches that work for the league, right? They're all paid employees. So they're there too, overseeing the parent coaches. So I've noticed that, like, he would be, active with the kids during the warm-up kind of practice. But then when it came to, like, the game, he would do almost no coaching and he would sit there on his phone. And, I'm not going to judge whatever you're doing, but there's a consequence to that, unfortunately, because these are little kids and they don't know what they're doing and they need guidance. And when they don't have guidance, they lose every game and they lose everything, and they get scored on and they feel like failures, and it impacts their view of sports as well as their self-esteem. So I hadn't seen too many major issues yet, but I was starting to feel kind of annoyed, and I was like just kind of mulling that feeling over a little in my head before I decided to say or do anything. So I just did that. Then last week, my daughter was the goalie. So she's been goalie many times. In fact, before last week, she'd never been scored on before. She did a really good job of it, which I was like, oh, that's awesome. So one thing I noticed is that, like, there has to be 7 kids to have a full team play, and any additional kids have to sit on the bench and they play the next game. So there weren't that many kids. Like, there was actually only, I think, 7. So nobody got a break. And, that's a problem because they need a little break between, like, you're running for, an hour or 2 hours, depending on your age level. So my daughter was put on goal and she played goal, and then the game ended and she didn't get a break. Her coach just said, oh, go back to goal. And so she didn't even stop for water or anything. She went back to goal. So she had gotten scored on once, which she was kind of frustrated about, but she was over it. I told her, like, it's okay. Like, it happens. You're not even professionals are perfect. Like, they get scored on too, right? Like, you learn from all this. It's just for fun anyways. Like, we're not competing or training to have her be a pro soccer player or any of that. We're just there for fun and exercise, which I think is true for probably 70% of the kids there, and the rest are, like, another story. So then the second time around, the other team had many, many more players. They actually had probably 14, 15 kids. So they had 2 full teams. And what I've noticed, the way that these things go is that like one team, like they'll split the team into kind of two sets of kids that like play together. The little kids play one round and the big kids play one round together. Well, my daughter, I would say, is probably one of the little kids because she's in the age group that she just turned. So she's a November birthday. So she's like a new 7-year-old, right? So for her, these like probably mostly close to 8-year-olds are much bigger. Sorry, my battery died. I had to change it. So anyways, so these kids are older than her. And so, you know, all of a sudden, like, there just came this scenario where like the kids were all like, you know, when you're playing soccer and you're on goal, there should be two kids in front of you who are your defenders, right? They're the two that, you know, that stand in front of the net, and they're the defense. So there was no defense. The kids were like out on the field. They were chatting and playing around as little kids do. And so suddenly she found herself all alone, and this other team of mostly boys, because it's co-ed, but it's honestly way more boys. There's like 2 girls and the rest are boys on most teams. So like she found herself in that situation where these boys are running at her really quickly, and it's intimidating, but she was trying, but like they just kept scoring on her, and it happened like 3 or 4 goals in a row, just bang, 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 because like none of her teammates were, you know, paying much attention. And that's fine, they're little kids, but the coach needs to make sure that that isn't happening, right? Like that's why you need to coach your team. So I was kind of looking at this whole situation feeling pretty hopeless, because I couldn't help her, and I knew it was really devastating for her to experience this. Like it was not what I want, you know, from sporting for her. That's not at all. Like that's the opposite of why we do this. So I just kept talking to her, and the referee was amazing. He kept coming up and saying like, hey, are you okay, right? Like, you know, everything's okay. But like, I felt like they were kind of missing the point. Like, no, it's not okay. Nothing's okay. You guys are basically leaving her here to get scored on over and over while her team are, you know, flummoxing around out there on the field and not knowing really what's going on. And, you know, it's not a good situation. So then something happened that I missed on the field, which probably was that one of the kids touched the ball while it was in play with their hands, and you're not allowed to do that. That's a penalty. So then after being scored on several times and feeling, you know, confused, you know, she then had to deal with getting a penalty shot kicked at her, which is when, you know, there is no defense. The defense have to step away, and the other team gets to score, you know, they get to try to score a point on the goalie. Just, they stand like 12 footsteps out, and then they get to kick. And so, you know, obviously they got it in because she's one little person, and the nets are huge. Like, they're very big nets. And, yeah, she was doing the best she could. And that just kind of really, I think, was where it struck her. Like, this isn't right. I don't like this. So she looked at me and she's like, Mom, this isn't fair. I said, I know it isn't fair. And you're doing the best you can, and that's all you need to do. This is almost over. Don't worry. So then like the referee kind of heard me, and he said, oh, are you the mom? And I said, I am her mom. Yes. And, so he was like, okay, so, you know, not her fault. You're only the strength of your team, you know, and he's talking to her, and he's saying like, you know, don't worry, like, you know, you're doing the best you can, and that's all you need to do. You're doing great, right? And like he was doing his best to kind of build her up and make her feel better. But like, my daughter is the kind of person who is like, don't satiate me, right? This doesn't make sense to me, right? Like, why this is happening. Don't tell me I'm doing a good job. That's not the point. Like, I'm obviously trying here, but it's not working. And she's like logical in that way. So, you know, I said to her, like, just finish this and we will talk after. So she does. So I was really frustrated, like, because the referee was great, and he spoke to her a couple times, and he said really good things. He's a young kid, and he was really nice, and she was okay. But then as soon as that game was done, she was not okay. She was in tears, and she came and she sat in the chair that I bring to sit on. And I said to her, you know what, you stay here. I will go over to the coach and get your water bottle, and we will get out of here. And as I'm walking back with her water bottle, like, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, actually, I do know what happened. So I forgot to tell you a part. So toward the end of the game, one of the boys on the other team, who's coached by these very aggressive dads, they're like the kind of people who I think try to live vicariously through their own kids because they have like failed careers in soccer or something. Like, you get those kind of parents in all sporting, right? Like, I've dealt with this before, but like, I know the type, and I'm not trying to be stereotyping, but trust me, if you've ever experienced, you've taken your kid to sporting, you're going to run into this at some point. Like, I can tell you 100% you will run into these kind of parents. And they're the parents who are driving their kids towards some kind of like a goal, possibly professional sporting, possibly scholarships, or making a certain, like being able to play for a certain like school that has its own league that they can do next level things, right? So I was collected, I was calm, and all of a sudden I heard, like, this one kid had missed a goal, and he was upset about it, and his mother was on the side of the field, and she just said to him, like, don't worry about it, you've already won the game anyhow. And this was the opposing team, like my daughter's opposing team. I didn't think much of it because I felt like, what a crappy thing to say, right? But I just kept it to myself. I didn't make a facial expression, I just ignored it, because that's what I do when I feel like I'm around someone who's not going to benefit in any way from my feedback. I don't engage. So all of a sudden, like, that woman she was just obnoxious, but like, there were two other women that were like sitting in chairs, and I actually find these women very obnoxious in a different way, because they're the wives of the two coaches of the aggressive team, and their sons. They have like, I think 4 or 5 boys between the two of them, and they're obviously like best friends, and their two husbands coach on the same aggressive team. And I feel like they're very like kind of like they baby their kids a lot, which isn't a bad thing, but the dynamic is strange. And then the dads are super aggressive and super like, all their messaging is like, you better win this or you're a loser, like you kind of get that vibe. So yeah, it's a weird dynamic to witness. So then those two mothers got angry at that statement that she made, and they were talking about her. I saw them, and I thought, like, I'm just sitting there quietly thinking, like, this reminds me so sadly of high school, that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I remember, all the jocks, all their obnoxious, like, jocks and their girlfriends, and how just competitive and icky it was, like, being around them. I was never a fan. So I just kind of laughed about that in my head. But then, like, I'm walking back with my daughter's water bottle, and I just hear it, like, screaming. I mean, like, brutal screaming at each other, just like really aggressive language. And I see this whole cluster of people, tons of parents, kids, the two coaches from the aggressive team, the two coaches' wives, and the woman who had blurted that, like, you already won the game thing. So all of a sudden, there's like this one woman who's like one of the higher up employees. She's like the head kind of, coach or something. And the referee. They're in there trying to break it up. There was almost physical fighting. Well, there was physical fighting going on. I didn't see punching, but I did see grabbing and kind of shoving, or like hands in faces. Like, it was so uncomfortable. So I just folded up my chair, put my daughter under my, my coat wing, and we got out of there because I didn't want her around any of that. But as we were walking out, I did hear the original woman who made that statement swear 3 times. Very, there was the F word, and there were 2 other words, and definite cursing. And she did it at the top of her lungs, because I was on the other side of the stadium at this point. And so, then like the manager woman like raised her voice and said this is a kids event, but she was kind of screaming at that volume where like you're about to lose your voice, like, you know, like you've got to out scream every other screamer. So after just the terrible coaching experience with this guy who's totally checked out, after my daughter crying and being scored on multiple times and having no support from any team at all, and just a bunch of kids who don't know what to do, who I could tell were just deflated. And then after the extremely unprofessional behavior from all the parents that are crazy people, I swear, I was like done. I was very done. So as we were walking back to the car, like we'd had some conversations, because my daughter said to me a couple weeks ago, I think in response to the poor coaching, Mom, you know, I'd like to play on another team or something. And like my husband and I had kind of said, like, we're going to ditch this league after this season's over. This is weird. We'll find something different to do. This is the first time we've done something, I think, with like a private organization. We usually go with our community or school kind of. So I got this flyer for this organization from my daughter's school. So I came home and I was angry. I'm not kidding. I was very angry. I needed some cool down time. I just kind of sat and I watched some Golden Girls. I'm not gonna lie. I needed a little bit of Blanche energy and a little bit of Rose innocence and a little bit of Dorothy common sense. But then I still had, you know, Ma in me. I still have the Estelle Getty fire, the Sicilian kind of. I'm not Sicilian at all, but I pretend to be on TV. So I was like, I'm just going to draft a letter. I talked to my daughter and she had decided she did not want to go back. She was done. She didn't like how that felt. She didn't think it was going to get better. We couldn't think of a strategy that she could use, right? You can't be a team alone. And she knew that she would just fall into the same situation. And we also know that the team is now half the size that it started as, and there's got to be a reason. People are obviously pulling their kids out. So I came home and I sent quite a tersely worded email to the organization and told them I would also be talking to the school board who sent me the recommendation to put my child in here. And I gave them several reasons that I felt were, you know, important. But the number one thing I said was, please consider my daughter off the team, but please help the rest of these kids, because I've seen crying week after week. I've seen disappointment, devastation, feelings of failure, and that coach is doing nothing. And the other coach who was on the team, she doesn't even show up. She stopped coming like maybe 4 games in. So like, there needs to be oversight here. Anybody would say that. And I was very terse. And so then I sent the email to the school board trustee and said, like, FYI, you might want to consider your sponsorship of this league. There's a major issue here. And I'm not the only one who feels this way. What I witnessed today was, I think, traumatizing, to be honest. I was very emotional, which I was surprised at, because, like, it's not like I never come into conflict, right? But like, it's different when you're going there thinking, this is about self-esteem building, this is about, you know, all these good things. And it was the opposite. So I had a lot of conversations I had to have, and it was their fault that I was put in this position. So, I mean, they were good conversations, and I'm glad I had that opportunity, and I think we both learned something. But so then a couple days later, I still had heard nothing. I talked to the school board trustee. He sent it to the principal. I've talked to the principal. She agrees with me, and she said she's had some similar comments and that they'd be rethinking a lot of strategy around what they do recommend. And that group is on their list of people that they need to meet with to talk about what's going on, because, you know, there's sponsorships here. There's partnerships. So it's not as simple as saying, stop doing this, right? And I know that I'm not like one of these people who expects really anything to happen when I complain. I tell people what is going on so they know. That's the important part. So then I got a phone call at like 9 p.m. on Sunday night or Monday night, and it was the owner of the league. And she was, I would say, nervous, devastated, honestly genuine though. And so she gave me some options that were very good and explained to me what she would be doing. And they did do what they said they were going to do, and they've removed him, the coach. And I wasn't the only complaint, but she thanked me for actually sending my snarky email, because she said, like, it didn't upset me like you think it might have. It actually did what I think you had hoped, and that was it shook me up enough that I was like, I need to deal with this, because you're right. Kids have left, so I'm glad you told me why, because I can't do anything when people just walk away, right? When they do get upset, at least I can address it. And so my daughter's on a new team. She started today. She has a really great coach. I said, please don't feel like when I get there you have to pander to me in any way, and I would appreciate if you don't communicate this subject with the new coach. I don't want my daughter treated like a precious gem or something. She's just like any other kid, but we want all the kids to have a good time, not just her. And you know, that applies to her old team as well. So yeah, we had a good day today with that. And yeah, I just wanted to share that experience with you, because I know a lot of you who watch me have kids and grandkids, and it's something to navigate, right? I think, like, I've gotten a lot of good feedback from many of you that tell me about your experience, especially with sporting and stuff. And like, I explain to them, like, I'm not a controversial or like arguable kind of parent at all. You know, I'm not one of these women who get a reputation for complaining about everything. I really don't. I don't do a whole lot of complaining. I'm a people pleaser. I was raised to be that way. I've had to work greatly on that to try to make my own life a little easier and not be kind of pressed upon by everybody that I know that, you know, it has influence over me. People pleasers suffer a lot in life. So I've tried to get myself out of that so I don't pass it along to the kids. But yeah, it's a very challenging situation that I don't wish on anyone. So that being said, I will stop my soccer rant, but I hope that, you know, it was interesting to you in some way, or you thought you're thinking about it, you know. I'm going to stitch around this card because I think I would like how that looks in here. So I'll be right back. Okay, that is stitched around and that is good to go. So for ephemera, I think we are looking pretty good in here. Now, I want to grab my other signatures and see if there's any of them. Hopefully I haven't done something in the center of all of them already. Okay, so there's this. That has something in the center. I'm hoping I didn't. I might have, though, because sometimes I do kind of plan the journal that way. So this one, these girls could go in here. Yeah, that doesn't have to be the center. So what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to create a crease. So I want to stitch them in the middle. Okay, so they'll be in there like so. Now I'm going to, before I put them in, I do want to ink the edges. Put my ephemera bits over here. But yeah, I sort of felt really good today. I thought I would be nervous when I first came in because I hate conflict, but then when I got there, the owner actually met me, and I said, oh hey, you know, my daughter's here for her New Jersey color, and he's like, oh great. And you know, so he was pretty casual. You know, I think he did take a minute to say to me, like, we hear you. And you know, I think he was also very respectful to my message of like, please don't feel like you need to, you know, be overly apologetic or anything. Let's just move on from this. So that was kind of nice. I didn't want it to be like a big deal in front of my child. So thankfully sometimes people do get it when you ask for, you know, certain things, and this was one of those times. Alrighty, so this goes in here. Now this beautiful paper. Okay, let's put, I want to put that pocket in here. Now do I want to put it on the front or maybe in here, because I just really like the front of the paper. So I'm going to, do I want to have it be like a double tuck spot? Or just glue it down maybe? I think I just want to glue this one down. I don't want to make this too bulky because I have like, I have to control myself a little bit because I have like a hard spine that is already ready to go. I don't want to build a new spine. Right at the bottom there. Good. Okay. Then let's see what else we need to do in here. So we need something to go in that, obviously. And let me get my bigger bits that are over here to see what we could make to put in there. I've obviously got those large kind of cards. Maybe use this. Maybe this would be great. Although, I'm also thinking of with this moth, like, I want to cut it out and make a big journal card with it and fold it, and then on the back it will have writing space. So let's maybe get that process underway. And then I'm going to go through these bits here, and I'm going to add things to the journal with that too, probably in like more the glue down kind of stage. So now to decide, do we want that in that pocket, or do we want this maybe? Let's go with this. This is a piece of paper from Release the Craftin's beautiful kit. It's a wintry kit. And I might do what I did. How big are we? A large. I love this blue paper from this Tommy Hilfiger bag. I know it's weird, but like it's a really nice color, right? Let's cut this out. And I also love that it's brown paper on the back. So I think we'll glue this down. But I have to make this a little more narrow. It's not going to fit that big. So we have some space to trim. Where's my ruler? There it is. So the other thing is, one of the comments that I made in my soccer related note is that perhaps the fact that the kids had not won a single game yet is an indicator that there's an issue. You know, that they're not being coached. And so today, my daughter, she scored a goal and they won the game 6-2. And yeah, that's awesome. And the funny thing is, she was actually playing a team that's also coached by those same two aggressive dads that like have their kids on the team. I was thinking, like, it's weird. I think it's a conflict of interest that they have a parent coach their own kids' like games. I think they should say, hey parents, you know, whoever wants to volunteer, thank you. But you're not going to work on your kids' team. You're going to work on the opposite game. Like you're going to be the coach for that team or something. Like, I don't know. But I guess they want the same coach every time. So that would be hard. But I mean, honestly, it's really just a problem of scheduling. I think I would try to do that because I did hear a comment about, again, those aggressive dads from one of, I think, my teammates, my daughter's teammates' parents. I think her child was in the, again, in the goalie, and she's like, oh yeah, that's his kid. So I could tell there was some weird drama going on again, but I don't think it was so bad today. It was just kind of like they were commenting on how aggressive that kid is. Because like those kids, like the kids of those two coaches, it's weird. Like they play in a way that's, first of all, like it's not even a successful way to play. If they were scoring goals, I may not be so, I mean, I probably would be critical because still I find the aggression annoying, but like they don't even score goals. They just, when they get near the ball, they kick it as hard as they can, as high as they can, as far as they can. They don't have any common sense when it comes to like passing to each other or strategizing or any of that. They just like force is their only method, right? It's really weird. But I was thinking today, like, I'm just going to listen to an audiobook and I'm not going to be paying so much attention to this because it's going to make me a little obsessed. All right, so will this fit in that pocket? I think it should. Let us see, let us see. It's just, yeah, get it in there correctly. There we go. That fits. Nice. Okay, now this one, did I decide I had something in the center of it? Oh yes, I put the moth girls in there. Okay, so I wanted to do one more project with those little bits today, and I need, again, another center. So, what do I have here? That needs to be in the center, I'd say. I mean, I don't need to have it there. We can see. This. This needs to be in the center because it has writing on it. That's one of those black braille pages. This. Oh, here we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And actually I can use this page for what I want to do. So I'm going to take this center signature page out. It's just a cabbage dyed ledger paper. And what I'm going to do is, you see the center fold here? I'm going to come out about half an inch on either side of the center fold. And I'm going to make another fold. Okay. That side. So then we've got one fold and two folds. And then I need the same thing on the other side. So we have 3 folds now. Okay. So now I need to find the center again. And fold that. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm doing here. Hold on. It's gonna all make sense. Just give me one sec. Once I fold it, I'll show it to you. I just gotta neaten my folds here. Okay. All right, so I want to create a little hidden valley in there. You see that? So folds on either side of the center fold create this little hidden area, okay? Now, the reason that I want to do that is because I want to trap these pieces of acetate inside this fold. Now I need to trim them down a little. Then I'm going to add glue really liberally here, like lots of glue. Okay. So then there's acetate here. This is a double-sided stamped moth that has been colored with watercolor gold. Okay, so there's that one. And then I'll trim that one down a little more too. Maybe a little bit more than the other one. So they'll be at 2 different heights. And then we'll shove that in that valley as well. And then the whole thing is glued. Okay. So now you have 2 flying moths, right? They're double-sided. So flip your paper over and you see this valley here. Just turn it and take that valley and do a nice neat fold with it on either side, doesn't matter, because you're going to have to glue that down as well. Okay. Because you want this to be like a regular signature. And one of the neat things with this particular piece of paper is I was able to line up the lines. So I think there's one little spot I missed the glue there. Hold on. To the edge, so that's all the way down. There we go. So now we have this as our center. And when you open it, you're going to have these flippy, floppy, fun little moths. Okay? So then that can go right back in the center of my signature. So open this back up, pop it in, and then you'll open it and you'll have these guys flipping around in here. Okay, so those are my projects for today. Thank you for hanging out with me and chatting and listening to my weird parenting moments. Those are often a part of my videos because, you know, it's good to talk about things. I think when we all just talk about stuff, like, get it off your chest, and you don't always have like a friend on speed dial who wants to listen to this. I mean, I do. I have friends that would listen to me talk about this, but for now I just wanted to tell you about it because it's something to talk about. So that being said, thanks for hanging out with me. This is another Make It Together video. I think we will make more of this journal in short, succession. I won't make you wait forever again. So until next time, thanks and bye for now.